Welcome to Overwatch, and welcome to another episode of Coaching the Many. This time we're going to be looking at Winston, the big man himself. Oh, you're talking to you two, that makes a lot more sense. But yeah, we're going to talk about Winston, big gorilla from the moon, space gorilla. Was very maligned for a long period of time, and honestly, I was partially guilty of this as well, thinking that Winston was like this very, very low skill cap character that was very simple and very easy to understand. But he's actually sort of developed over time into this quite complicated little bit of a beast. Very, very important to understand your fundamentals with Winston, so we're going to be talking about a lot about that. The game in question is about silver rating, so about 1.5k SR. Put that on the screen so that everyone can see it. 1.5k.
Welcome to OneAmongstMany.
It's a nice sort of silver rank level.
I hope I'm not interrupting anything. Hi, YouTube.
Good job, Matty88. 8088? No, he's 8989. Fuck Matty8888. He's nobody. Matty8989 is the guy though. No, thank you for the 3 months, man. Always appreciated. Okay, let's get this show on the road and the show. So bye, Twitch chat. Oh, slide you off. There you go. Gone. Right. Oh, dive comp in silver. It should be good. And actually, let me explain, like, why am I going, oh, dive comp in silver, this should be good. It's because dive comp is this very tricky thing to run, usually. Like, it's one of those things that the better you do it, or if you do dive comp badly, it just falls flat on its face. Like, it really falls flat on its face super fast. Because people will just go in, they'll be going for different targets, and suddenly everyone on the team splits off and just goes and dies, and it's a little bit tricky. If you're going to try and run dive, like, let me give you some simple advice on how to run dive. How does dive work? The biggest thing is to follow the Winston. Because if you think about it like this, and like, let me pause it and actually do this properly. So we've got Winston, so let's make Winston W, Genji G, and Tracer T. Okay, so Winston is W. Winston's leap is on like a long cooldown, relatively long cooldown. I think it's, you know, it's not that long. I think it's like 6 seconds. But once Winston has jumped, he is committed. He is so committed. And especially if he puts the bubble down, that's like another 12 seconds or something, where he jumps in and he's in and he's stuck in. And so Winston can't move. Genji, his dash is on a relatively long cooldown, so I don't know, I'm going to put an L, but he has lots and lots of escape tools. He has deflecting, he can double jump, he can wall climb, he can get back out. He's okay, usually. If he jumps in, he sort of thinks, whoa, no, this was a bad decision. He can do a lot, and then Tracer's just, you know, he's just smiling and doing whatever the hell she wants. So Winston is sort of the linchpin, because once Winston is committed, you've got to follow on that. And that's why, in general, I try and time, like if I'm playing the Tracer or the Genji, I'll try and coordinate as much as I can with the Winston, because if you go in, nobody follows you, you're usually, well, that's 500 ultimate charge fed to the enemy team. Let's see it right here. So 500 ultimate charge fed to the enemy team, that's always bad. So this puts you off on the wrong foot. It's very important if you're running dive comp though to be very coordinated, like as coordinated as possible, basically. Here we go. Well, if you are curious, the guy we are coaching is the Burnix. The Burnix, I don't think he's technically a subscriber. No, he isn't. I think he might be. Who knows? He might be here as well. You could find out. So instantly, when, like, you can see sort of the problem with the dive, where Genji's gone in, Tracer's gone somewhere else and died, and then we've just sort of got a kill on our own, but now we're getting slammed by the Junkrat. And this is because we split off from a team. One thing that is, like, very, very important is when you're coming out of spawn, like, be very cautious about this. So Lucio, the magic green circle, stay in the magic green circle, because you split off, and now the entire team is now leaving you in the dust. And we are the last person to engage. I mean, Genji's already in. Genji's gone deep. Genji's going ham, and Genji's exploded all over the frickin' walls. And it's not to say that, you know, we could have maybe stopped that, but we could have done something. The barrier does so much in stopping damage going through certain areas, so we can do a lot to control the damage output. We can do a lot to control that. We could have been a distraction. People could be focusing us instead of focusing the Genji and Tracer, because we're a big, easy to shoot target, and people shoot big, easy to hit stuff. So you want to make sure that you're staying in that green circle. It sounds simple and makes you feel silly, but it's worth mentioning, right? It's worth mentioning. I do like the little step back. Another option you can do here is if you see a Junkrat doing this, is you put the bubble in front of him. And so if the bubble is across here, and the Junkrat detonates the mine, you know, right where it is there, the explosion doesn't go through. Like, it doesn't travel through. The explosion will hit everything outside the barrier. So as long as you got it sort of contained, you could sort of put him in a fishbowl, and then you could sort of stop the damage there if you're feeling a little less confident. You could also run here and then just jump straight up after he's dropped it, and because he's in such an obvious position, people should shoot it. And I say that with a little bit of skepticism, because it is silver, so who knows, but it should happen. We get the kill on him anyway. We reacted quite nicely to that, and we actually did deal with that. Further staying on the Lucio, a little bit of a misplace on the jump. I think the speed boost catches us a little off guard. It's okay. It worked out. I just say, like, try and make sure that, you know, he's not going to stop on the corner. I think you were just anticipating getting the kill there, and he's got, like, a tiny bit of hit points. With Lucio, it's never a bad idea on a healer just to overcommit slightly, just to anticipate, because if he swapped onto healing, for example, then you would never have had enough damage to do it. So just a little bit of overcommitting on healers usually pays off, because they tend to heal themselves if they can. This is not a fight we want to be in for very long. I'm fine with us just doing it until the bubble wears off and, you know, just juking around, but after we lose our armor especially. And honestly, this is like a good rule of thumb on most tanks, is if I scoot over, you can see the health and armor bar here. Once the armor is gone, it's usually a good sign to be thinking about, you know, if you aren't 100% sure that you want to be there, that's usually a good indicator of when you want to be moving away. So, Winston, you could generally be a little bit more generous, but you'd be surprised how effective armor is at stopping, especially stuff like Tracer, Sombra, Reaper, Roadhog, dealing sizable damage to you. Armor's very good at stopping that, so when you lose that armor, that's a good sign to get out. And they swapped it up, they got a Roadhog now. It's very, very tricky. Here we go. Oh god, nice fishbowl. Very nice fishbowl. I actually like the patience here as well. Just drop it and get out there. What's easiest thing in the world, right? Definitely want to be doing that. Makes it so easy for your team. Just waiting a second isn't a bad idea as well, because if you don't wait the second, if the enemy team is really coordinated or they just use something to blow the barrier away, then yeah, feels bad, man. Okay. Otherwise, we're being annoying. We've got Primal Rage. In moments like this is where we're mostly thinking about just make yourselves a nuisance. This is not honestly a good idea. I don't like doing this. Why don't I like this? We'll explain this in a second. Let's just see the rest of this team fight before going back and checking stuff out. That was actually quite a nice boop, quite a nice knock. That was a very nice self-destruct by the Diva, actually. And, okay, now's when we need Primal Rage. So why didn't I like that Primal Rage? Well, you got to think of Primal Rage as this, okay? The benefits of Primal Rage isn't really its damage, or its knockbacks are useful. Like, they're very good utility. But you got to remember with knockbacks, actually, let's go slow-mo as well. Like, let's go all the way back here after the fishbowl, and let's go slow-mo, so it's just in the background, I can just prattle. So I like my prattling. 2.5, there we go. Okay. So let's talk about Primal Rage. Like, what is Primal Rage good for? Well, it's really good for sort of knocking people off a small point, not really a big point. It's not very good for that because people will generally find ways to get off it, or someone will be knocked off somewhere and then someone else will be running on it. So it's very difficult to clear a point that way. It's very good when people are near cliffs, obviously. But the big thing with Primal Rage is this enormous safety net. It's this basically 1000 hit point heal that you could pull out at any time as long as you're not stunned or crowd controlled. And even now, it used to be with like the Ana grenade, it used to just give you a 500 heal, well now it gives you the full 1000. So you get that full, huge, enormous heal off the back of it. So what you got to think of it as is this is your ability. It's a cue for you to go in and go deep, so to speak, and you go deep, you go hard, and then you just deal as much damage as you can, and then when you start feeling scared, that's when you pop the Primal Rage, and then you're free to do whatever you like. Then you can start being disruptive, start trying to knock people away, start doing stuff like that. You also want to be very careful, by the way, just as like, when I follow, you know, let's follow on this thought, and let's finish this thought on Primal Rage. You want to be very careful when using it in a team fight, in a big, brawly team fight, because let's say you Primal Rage and Genji Dragon Blades, it's actually anti-synergy because the Genji wants people to be relatively static, so he knows, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, you know, kill this person, and then dash here, kill this person, dash here, kill this person, dash here. And he has like a very simple pathway to sort of try and navigate. And the worst thing you can do then is like Genji dashes, then you knock the person miles and you knock them to safety. It's just like such a anti-synergy. Also, it's worth mentioning two more things about Primal Rage. One, your DPS goes down, so if you get nano boosted, don't Primal Rage unless you really need to. And two, you don't have to hold down left mouse button. I see this so often where people will just hold down left mouse button and like knock, 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 and knock people all over the place. you can actually hold on to it. I was watching Numlocked, I think. He did like a really, really cool Primal Rage boop where I think he just like literally jumped over a McCree, waited for the perfect moment, and then just knocked the McCree into like a pit or something. It was really nice, and it was just a really good sort of proof of concept of like, do not hold left click unless you need to. Like, you can be very thoughtful actually about how you knock people around, how you move people around. So you have that option, and I think people just forget that you can do that. Like, they just hold down mouse 1 hoping to knock people places, but you can be a lot more precise with that. You could actually be relatively controlled. So yeah. So in this case, like, we use the Primal Rage pretty much like the moment we can sort of get into this fight and like start really messing people up and knocking people down, but honestly, we are losing damage output at this point. You could make the argument, I suppose, maybe, so we get the stall here, and then maybe this hook would have killed us, though we got a little bit of healing. Like, maybe if we didn't Primal Rage then, the hook would have killed us, perhaps. But even then, I still think it's a little bit too early. Like, honestly, what I would have been looking to do is, especially once you get the bubble on this Diva. Like, now we're back into this fight, let's just hunt this Lucio, make this Lucio's life a misery, and honestly, instead of moving back in this way, let's move in this way. So that what we're doing is we're creating this zone of damage here. So basically, we've created our Tesla Cannon zone of damage. Or I can't say that Diva definitely wants to get back in a mech, and Lucio can't stay there. And we're also acting as like a body block for the Lucio, so that he can't just sprint away and heal himself back up and stuff like that. So I think we'd be better suited by moving this way. This also moves us away from the Roadhog, which is the scary target, and then we can start doing more and have a couple of more options, maybe. Okay, I've spent enough time on this team fight. I'm going to have a slap of coffee. I'm going to boil this shit out of my mouth, and then we'll keep going. There is a funny thing you can do if you really want to get, like if the Diva died or something and you want to get rid of the fire, is if you jump at her and you just jump straight at her, she has a tendency to blow herself up, which is hilarious. Also, if you put a bubble right under her, she will blow herself up, which is also hilarious. Right. Otherwise, we're going to be respawning, we lose the point. The Diva ult was good because... Why was the Diva ult good? I want to... Like, I have a thing about Diva ults. If you're not aware, I have a real big thing about Diva ults. I hate people who just spam naked Diva ults for no reason. Ours was good because, yeah, they just drop the beat, so they want to engage, they want to do stuff, so this is why this was good. So just advice for Divas out there. So once they've used Sound Barrier, they want to do things. They want to run in, they want to attack and, like, be active, and, you know, that's their cue to, like, go, do stuff. Yeah, we got 600 extra hit points, we can do it, whatever we like. If you drop the Diva bomb, then it's basically saying, stay the fuck away. You can't do anything now, you'll die. And so that's why I quite like that one, because it's basically, it's a stall for them, where, and like the Roadhog is also just like extra super double fucked because he's decided to whole hog and he can't do anything. Mist, hello! I'm glad to hear you're okay. Hope all is well, and hello Zuby as well. Good to see you. Welcome, 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 welcome. Oh, good. So let's talk about Winston Tracer. Let's talk about why Winston is considered anti-dive, and let's talk a bit about time to kill, because this is a good opportunity to do that. Spending a lot of time on the fundamentals on sort of the first half of this, but I think it's just a very good idea to sort of get all this stuff out of the way, because once you understand like Winston's purpose, it's very easy to start playing him properly. So the thing with Winston and divers is this. It's very simply this. Winston limits the amount of time the dive has to do things. It really has a tough time on, like, if you are going in as Genji or Tracer, you generally have like an idea in your mind of how long can I play around in the back here? Like how safe am I? How scared am I? How worried am I for threats? So when this Mercy sort of comes out of spawn, the Tracer sees her and it's like, okay, you know, I want to kill this support. She might be coming back to res. She might be doing something with that. The Tracer's thinking, I have a certain amount of blinks and I have a certain amount of time I can do things, and then you're instantly putting a limit on this. You're putting a time limit on this. Winston does about 55 damage per second, so Tracer has a little bit less than 3 seconds to do stuff now. Which means that if you take any extra damage, then that's really cutting into the time she has, and 3 seconds isn't that long to do stuff with. Once she's recalled especially, now she's really sort of locked in, and now she's forced to run away, because if she does go too aggressive, you are basically saying, you know, it's a character that relies on evasion, so you're saying, you cannot evade me, you will eventually die to this unless you leave. This jump was, I think, a little bit ballsy. We get a little bit lucky here that the Roadhog stops it, and the Diva's also there to sort of catch us and provide a bit of a safety net, but I think that this jump was a little bit over aggro. So let's actually just get back to like the moment-to-moment coaching. But when you do see divers in the back here, like this is your objective, is to just put pressure on them and make sure they can't do stuff. If they're so busy evading you that they're leaving the supports alone, job is done. But you generally only want to be doing this kind of play when you are not playing the dive. If you are playing dive, then honestly the supports need to be looking after themselves quite aggressively. Because they seem to be playing more of a standard comp, so honestly we need to be getting ready to sort of do a strong counter push. This is not the play. So what this jump has happened here is if we just look at this, it's like 1, 2, 3 big threats, I would say. Like the Diva can kill us relatively quickly, the Roadhog's absolutely terrifying, and Junkrat has a great time against Winston. And, you know, I'll say it now, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, I do poo-poo the Junkrat pick a little bit, but I do understand in gold, silver, even like platinum, he is quite effective still. Like people are not very good at spacing damage or reacting properly to damage, so that's why Junkrat's still effective. So I'm not, you know, if there's a Junkrat in your team lineup, I will point out that Junkrat is a crutch that you, as you climb, you will see less of, and you will learn to how to deal with him properly. But Winston against Junkrat is actually really bad for the Winston. He's a big target, he's easy to hit, his barriers do not last long at all against Junkrat, and it's just a nightmare situation. Also, you have a habit of stepping into traps. Funny I should mention this. So, when dealing with a Junkrat, do be aware that literally right behind me, let me grab me, webcam, click. Oop. Oh. There we go. So yeah, right there, right over there, this here is a Junkrat trap in all its. Yeah, at the top of staircase is usually where you're going to see it. So let me put myself back where I was. If you do see one, like that is a problem. And stopping to clear it is not a bad idea, because if you don't clear it, this is what's going to happen to you. Where you will now step forward. Well, the Diva, at least actually it's quite good that the Diva sort of took the trap there, and honestly I don't know why we ran away. The Diva's taken it, the Diva is okay with it. Like, the Diva can sort of sit there in defense matrix and be alright. I mean, she does get blown up here, but we could have just pushed on the Junkrat then. And I know that the knockback from the conch mine probably knocked us away a little bit, but there's still nothing stopping us just stepping out here. And just yeah, so the conch blast knocks us away. Go right back for him, or walk around here and jump up. Like, get on him to put the bubble down around him, isolate him, and then once that's happened, you will win. You will kill him. Actually, with the new changes to Junkrat, he doesn't do damage to his own grenades. I'm not 100% on that, but I think you will still win. You should still be able to win, especially if you barrier juggle properly and just step in and out of the barrier appropriately. Seagull uses Junkrat on a regular basis. Seagull is such a good player that he can get away with using Junkrat on a regular basis. I do not recommend it normally. Had a good opportunity there just to get onto the Junkrat. I mean, this is sort of the, like, their team comp is actually very, very strong against Winston right now, so this is where Roadhog would be very good, which is sort of a shame to say, because Roadhog's very strong in the meta, but this would be a good opportunity to actually go on Junkrat and just go right for him. Because if you don't, like, if he bombs you, then okay, fair enough. Like, he's used his ultimate, he's killed a tank, whatever. But if you don't go on him, then he's going to use it to find other things. And this downtime, it's just like, this is a free kill sat right here. So just a little bit more awareness. This is a good priority target. Because he's not going to kill us. Pharah, like, finishing the Pharah wouldn't be a bad idea, but honestly, the Pharah's not doing much at the moment. She's just sort of shooting at us. And if we sort of jump over here, like we bounce over here, let me make sure my head's not in the way, it's not, and we put a big dome down, literally like this dome here. If you put a bbig dome down, the Pharah takes a while to blow through it, so you'll be safe for you'll be safe for long enough to kill Junkrat. Like, it takes 4 seconds. Less than 4 seconds. 3.7 seconds or something. So yeah. That death was kind of inevitable. Everyone's already dead and push is over. This is where the team needs to regroup, reorganize. Hopefully the team does that. This Genji should not be poking when under... Okay, guys. Guys. I like giving out all the other free advice as well. This isn't just Winston, it's everything. So you can see he's down to 75 hit points. That's the time where you go hang around Lucio, or there's a health pack literally just this way, just like behind me. Like... yeah, back there. There's a health pack. Go pick that up. Go pick that up. Because if you don't, and you go and poke on 120 hit points, well, that's 120 hit points if Pharah one-shots you. Junkrat does enough damage to you that you need to be really scared. Like, Junkrat, I think, does 80 damage per grenade and 100 with the conch mine. Like, 100 is enough to be scary. Very scary. And then you get stuff like this. This should how? I'm guessing she just like rocketed it somewhere, and like people were just. Feels bad, man. This push is already over. Like this, what you should be looking to do now is facilitate some kind of kill. I'd say the jump there is a little bit unneeded. The worst thing you can do at the moment is get yourself stuck where these guys are. You do not want to be over on this side. You want to be like, I'd say advance about here, drop the barrier, and then try and kill Junkrat. And then get the hell out. Why? Because 2 people are dead. And there's no, like, none of them are dead. They're all grouped up, they're all ready to go. So if we jump into the middle of them like this, we've used our escape mechanism, so now we're kind of locked in a bit. And now we're getting pinned into a corner. And now we're at the point where we could just be trickling, like, really badly. We can afford to go a little bit more aggro now, because we do have the Winston. Watch out for the trap, good job. And we get that. And now's the time when we want to retreat, pick up the health, but dying there is, like, totally not needed. What I recommend in a situation like this, where the fight is likely to be lost, use these guys basically effectively as bait. So these guys are now bait, and you just stay on this side. And again, you're putting a time limit on what these guys can do. Like, these guys cannot stay there while you're just shooting at them, and if they try and go on you, you have an escape behind you, and, like, if you think about the corridor shape, so let's draw the area we're in now. So you got, like, the steps here, you got the pillar there, steps there, and then you got the doorway here, and there's a door over here as well. Made that doorway way too small. You get the idea. There's, like, a pathway down this way that leads out to safety, and then you got the room over here. Okay, and you can go this way. So if you stand here, you can pull out this way, you can pull around the corner and get out safely. These guys are all stuck over here. There's not really a good way for them to follow you. Diva can give chase, Tracy can kind of chase, but you can find a health pack down here. There's a health pack over sort of over here. So you can get to those relatively easily. You have options available. Once you've committed and you've gone sort of over to this side, where you jumped over their team, or you've got into their team, if they all turn and focus on you, you've used your jump, you've used your mobility, you're now stuck. And the barrier won't cover you as well. So if you think about, if you put the barrier here, the barrier gives you 2 layers of protection. If you put the barrier around these guys, it's giving you 1 layer of protection. So like a little optimization here. I think this is just a little bit too overeager. And it's just generally good advice is to avoid making any decisions that will commit you to a big fight if the team fight is already on a dubious bit of ground. Another good thing from this would be you'll build your ultimate up and you'll have it available for next fight rather than potentially needing it just during this little chaos. Because now that you've died, we're in a really difficult position. That's a very nice res by Mercy. We had to use that then, that's okay. Just to survive the Farah. We honestly nullified the Farah out there pretty much. Now we're kind of just bouncing around trying to knock anything around. This felt very unfocused, so my general advice is like find something important and just get rid of it as best you can. In this case, I'd say you'd want to probably get rid of the Roadhog or the Diva. Like one of the two. Maybe I think the Diva might be optimal, but the Roadhog's also a possibility. And what do I mean by that? Well, in this instance, you could probably just stay and push this Roadhog all the way out the fight. You're out the fight, but the Roadhog's out the fight, and the Roadhog's done. He's not really going to be able to kill you in time as well. He might be able to get a lot of damage on you, but if he does, then you can just bounce away from him. You could just push him out the fight, and then maybe you could just bounce over this way and try and find something else to push out. But the worst thing we could do is kind of what we ended up doing here, which is we sort of bounce, you know, you bounce Farah back, but she's still on the points, she's still shooting at people. You go over, we bounce the Lucia around a bit, but he's just sort of knocked over there and he's got sand barrier and doesn't really care. And then we bounce Diva a bit, but she's not really impeded by this either. So she doesn't really get bothered. So we just sort of jumped around the fight, but we didn't really do anything. We didn't really tank anything. We didn't really disrupt anything. And as such, the ultimate didn't really result in any meaningful gain. And that's always a bit of a shame when that happens. Diva ult is the most dangerous thing at this elo. It is true. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I need to coach people. Like, how do you coach people on how to avoid Diva ult? I'm guessing it's just a positioning thing in general. Be relatively near cover at all times, and just work off the back of that. Nice. Next game. Like, we spent a long time on that game. The next ones will be faster, but like I said at the start, Winston is very based on fundamentals, knowing how to engage. I do want to highlight before we begin as well, this is on the previous patch, so this isn't on the anniversary patch. The Arisa changes. I think Arisa is actually really strong now. I kind of think Arisa looks really good at the moment. Like, okay, maybe not overpowered or anything, but she looks quite good. Like, from what I've seen from her, she actually looks really strong, especially on any sort of very static comps. She's going to be really, really difficult to break. Very good defensive hero, very good when you don't have to move around that much. I think she's going to be very strong there. Hollywood, very good for Arisa. Right. Torbjorn Arisa comps, watch out. So we have a Zenyatta instead of the Lucio. So this is going to change some of our decision making, especially on this map. So if you do not have a Lucio, best advice I can give you is do not go this way, for the love of God, and we're not doing that, which is nice to see. If you go this way and you go up, I've noticed that this literally sort of comes out the top of my head. There we go. So if you go out this way, and you, oh god. So if you go up that way and you don't have a Lucio, what tends to happen is you just go up and then you get hooked. Feels bad. About here. There we go. Okay. I'm having fun with this. I'm having too much fun with this. So we want to go main, just keep in mind that they are likely to go high ground. Now what's nice about Arisa is that she's going to do this pull. I don't like how hesitant we were with that though. It's kind of tricky for us because we're not really running dive at the moment either, or we're running like this weird pseudo dive. Let me actually double check the team comp just to be sure. So Soldier, we have a Zenyatta and a Genji. Okay. Oh, too far, too far. So this initial engagement, what you want to be looking for is basically, you don't want to be jumping like right here, for example. Like right in the middle, let's clear that. Let's do it in pink. You don't want to be jumping right in the middle. Because what's going to happen then is Diva and Roadhog are just going to turn around, they're going to walk through the barrier, or just kill the barrier and then just kill you. Where we want to end up is somewhere we can push into and take the like area over. So we can either push in over here, or we can jump over this way and then push in up here and sort of control this space in this area. Right? We can sort of control these spaces. And if we control these spaces, then we're going to be really strong. If we just stand out in the open, then the heroes that they have are really, really good. It looks like, and this is why it's always a good idea to sort of keep your eye on where your team's positioning in general. So it looks like Soldier's going to go and take this area. So if we can facilitate this Soldier 76 somehow, that would be really nice. Ideally, Soldier would have stuck with the Arisa a little bit, perhaps. But honestly, I would say what I would be thinking is probably just to jump over here and then put the barrier up around the Diva. That way we can push in over, like, into here if we need to. We can push in and go around the flank and maybe catch some supports. If we get jump back up, we can go up this way. We have options available. We're not jumping into the Roadhog. He's likely to kill us. We're putting a barrier between us and Roadhog, so that shuts that down a little bit and gives us a little bit of options. We don't really want to jump on this, even though the Arisa's pulling it in, because if we jump on Roadhog, we're going to get smashed, basically. We're kind of lucky here in that they don't seem to shoot the barrier at all, which is good. Definitely go and finish this Diva off. Good job. Diva relies on a small size to survive. Down she goes. Bless. Bless. Gone. She's done. They got a McCree. Gruff. We have two barriers in front of us. Be very fucking careful about doing that, though. Okay. What was the mistake here? The mistake here was pretty simple. So now he's out of the barrier, and we can still deal damage to him. And you've got, like, a surprising amount of range. So we still got a barrier in front of us, and honestly, you just want to maximize that time. And even if he gets out of range, we can now finish him off with a jump. Like, we only have to get into about 20 hit points, and then we can just make sure that we finish him with a jump. This is honestly not a big problem for us. You can jump in the air as well, just always remember that. Nice landing on the health pack, I do like that. Ooh, don't step in total mayhem. Come on now. Come on now. You know better. You know better.
Mercy switch, please.
Mercy switch, please. Oh, bless it. I'm having flashbacks. Okay, true story, guys. Just as well, you know, we're waiting to get back here. I had someone absolutely livid at me the other day for playing Lucio on this very map, and just begging me to swap to play Mercy. Tank visor has been activated. This is one of the few cases where we can actually like play a tank properly. So we've seen Soldier go this way. This chap's called Kill 'Em All. He's going. So when someone uses an ultimate, like as a tank, it's a very good idea just to make sure that you know exactly what they're doing with it and where they're going with it. So this soldier's used his ultimate and he's gone over this way, right? So that means he's probably going to try and come around this way. So what we probably want to do is make sure that if he comes around this corner and he you know, and Junkrat's just spamming, the Junkrat doesn't just kill him. Like, that's what we're scared of happening here. So what we want to do is we want to come out here and then just bounce over here. We can put a bubble down, and then this soldier can run around and do all this stuff over here, just as much as he likes, really. And it's a really, really powerful thing to do this sort of thing. Like, we don't have to stay here because Arisa's kind of got this covered. Arisa can do a lot of damage into this, and while we can get some good kills on this, the smart thing for their team to be doing would be to listen to our soldiers going and try and cut him off rather than engage on the tanks. It's a bit of a Zap Brannigan moment where it's like, you know, we will attack the enemy where they're strongest to intimidate them. No, go shut down the Soldier 760's ulting. Our job, this is probably going to be more true for higher elos, I guess, and going for the individual kills is okay-ish at this elo, but don't learn bad habits, basically. We will be perfectly fine just jumping over, creating a space for the soldier to move in, and then the soldier can go and get those kills. Soldier ults before he gets into position. Yeah, no, that was also, yes, quite bad. Like, soldier ults before he gets into position on 100 hit points, I believe, as well, is equally not good. So let's... Have I gone back ridiculously far, or have I just totally... Have I gone forward? I'm now completely friggin' lost. I think I went forward there instead of back. Yeah, I did. Somehow I did that. So yeah, soldier's on 150 health, and then tac visor when he has no line of sight to anything. And it was also basically announced to the enemy team, hey, tac visor's coming this way. Diva should definitely be peeling just to go and shut this down. And then, yeah. That's the ideal there. For us, our job is to make sure that soldier can do something. I'm fine with us engaging onto the Roadhog here somewhat. Partially because we're stalling, partially because we have Primal Rage. So even if he hooks us and lands a shot, we can just press Q and we'll be fine. Discord Orb's on him as well. So he presses Q, lands a shot. Now's a good time for us to press Q and just isolate him. Yeah, just take him out of the fight. Be a little bit careful. Again, we're sort of overthinking our movements. Like, this to me screams of overthinking. Where we could just knock him, and the place you're aiming for him to go will be this corner. We could kill this guy. Like, Roadhog's used a shot here. He's not going to kill us in 3 shots, basically. So if we boop him this way and just put him in this corner, he's not doing anything to the point. He's not doing anything to anyone anymore. He's just sort of hurting us for nothing. If he gets whole hog, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. It's not a huge deal, so okay, fair enough. You just knock him into the corner. This is not much hit points. We can kill this. Instead, we sort of knock him away, and then this jump just feels completely pointless. Because if you think about what this jump is doing, it's basically putting us in a position where we're either knocking him back into the fight, which might not be a terrible idea, but in which case we want to be a little bit careful about sort of how and when we're doing this jump. But we're honestly just like knocking him around, and then this jump, this third jump is just really not good. Because now our opportunity, like if we just run forward at him here, and keep pushing him this way, there's a chance we just knock him off here. And I'm aware that we might just want to get back out and like not feed, but it's an option. I'd say that once you've committed to this jump, it's just, Like, this is just the overcommittal. Because now we're sort of stuck out in the open and not really doing much of anything. We've already bought space for a team. The team's taken the point, but... And I think the nano boost, well, not the bongo on the point was a little bit unnecessary. Hooks down. No, don't do this! Don't do this! Winston Basics 101. Be very paranoid about pressing E when you're mid-jump, because otherwise this shit like this happens. It happens all the time. So make sure you just jump further in. Because if you land and your barrier is behind you, you feel like a complete moron and you tend to just die. Whole hog. Don't really care. Oh, frame rate. Frame rate. Frame rate. Bubble. The reason why I checked this is because I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe Junkrat, you know, knocked him away. Maybe Lucio booped him. Maybe I didn't hear that. But no. Are you all right, friend? Burnix, is everything okay? I hope everything's okay, because that was a little bit Yeah. It's just, you know, people care. I care. I care. I care. Trust me, I care. You may have fat fingered the button. Maybe you did, but it was almost a disaster. Just don't jump at a Diva bomb. I think it's the advice there. No hook. We have a little bit of opportunity. Be very careful though. A lot of damage on that point. This though is not good. Why is this not good? It's because you see these two dead people here. You see these two corpses. Anna and Soldier 76, the veterans of Overwatch, and Winston, the new god. I don't know, maybe Winston wanted to be promoted. You know, Winston wants Soldier 76's old job, so maybe this is how he's planning to get it. But these deaths are on us. Why are these deaths on us? Because if you think about the approach to the point, the first thing to realize is that there is no rush at the moment. No rush at all. 40% to 71%, we have plenty of time. We can take all the time in the world. We don't have to speed in. We don't have to panic a way forward. Think about the damage coming out through this choke point at the moment. Like, we get to see it in a second, but this choke point is where your team is pushing through. Everyone's pushing through here. Ideally, you want Arisa to come through and put the barrier down, and then everyone can push out. So she'd be putting the barrier about here, and then your team can move out and start moving towards the point. But she's not here at the moment. So if we're running out this way, hooks down. Okay, now we can actually start doing things. We could move to here and hang around this corner, and then force Roadhog to jump out and start dealing with us. We could hang around this billboard thing and just sort of try and use that for evasion. We could do that. The worst thing we could do is bail out on our team and go this way and run away and then let the rest of our team deal with Winston, Roadhog, Junkrat, Diva, all shooting them. And then this happens, where all that damage combines, and then these two people die because we don't have a barrier on top of them so that they can move out safely. Arisa doesn't have a barrier on top of them, so both tanks kind of failed there. What this means is your primary healer, Anna, is dead. Your primary DPS, Soldier 76, is dead. You can't do anything anymore. We can't do anything. This gives the enemy team more time to poke, enemy team more time to do stuff, enemy team more time to exploit position. And now we're stuck. And now they've just gained 25%. Soldiers just died again. Even more. Just in that little instance. And now we swap to Diva. Okay. I haven't watched further than this in the video. Like, just sort of catch up to this today. So, hey. We definitely should be catching that spam. So, okay, let's swap it up. Coach of the many Diva. I'm guessing he swaps back to Winston, maybe? I'm not sure. If he doesn't, then I don't know. I can keep on Diva, I guess. Oh no, this poor soul played HOTS. I don't mind HOTS. I think HOTS gets a lot of flack for no reason. Okay, priorities as Diva here against this team lineup. Very quickly, make sure that the Junkrat can't get away with murder. And make sure the Roadhog can't get away with murder. Like, your job is to shut down the Junkers, basically. Why shut down the Junkers? Because they have a huge damage output of relatively predictable damage as well. So you want to be shutting that down. Why didn't that catch the damage onto the soldier? Because the barrier, as you notice, isn't on the soldier. It's behind him. You got to make sure that the barrier basically envelops the target. So it's a little bit difficult to see because the green sort of fades away and it doesn't get picked up. But basically, we are putting this about here. So 10 meters. I think it's like, technically it's about here. Is where the tube is going. And it's not catch, it might just, but it's a little bit tricky, like it's not perfect. And ideally we just have the defense matrix. If you just like think of it as a tube and you just put the target in the tube, it will block that damage. It will work. So yeah. So yeah, it'll block that damage and that will work a little bit nicer. Anytime someone hooks, just try and put the area between them and the hook. And the Roadhog in the defense matrix. If you don't, then this is what happens. A little bit scary. Try and get the boot. Yes! Good lad. Good lad. That was a really nice sort of seizing the opportunity. Good angle. Bumper car. Boop. Off they go. Ace. Love it. High value kill. That was literally like 600 damage. Good save there by the Arisa. It's a bit unfortunate that we get demech'd. Priority number one is to get our mech back. Priority actually number one is to get someone on the point, but that's more on the Gengu. Don't like that tac visor at all. This fight's already done. We did not need this visor. Why didn't we need this visor? We used a bongo as well. Okay, ultimate efficiency, ladies and gents. You usually only need 1 or 2 ultimates to win a fight. So ideally, you sort of stagger it. This is actually a very powerful ultimate combo that you're going to get to see here, which is the Transcendence plus Dragonblade. Transcendence plus Dragonblade plus Bongo is more than enough to clear everything. 2 people are already dead. Diva's almost out of her mech. Nano Boost and Tac Visor getting used to, like... It sounds bloody obvious when you say it, but the amount of times I see this in like silver, gold level games is insane, where everyone will just fire off their ultimates for no clear reason. You do not need a tactical visor, bongo, and a nano boost to kill a D-Mech Diva, a McCree, and a Tracer. You don't need all of that. You really don't. So you want to be very careful when using your ultimates, especially on a fight that, you know, you've already got a couple of kill advantages. You don't really need to use more. If they start using more, then you might be okay using more. But until that point, just be a little bit conservative. Some of it might be kill greed. Some of it might be, you know, oh, Genji's getting all the kills, therefore I'm going to get all the kills. No one gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. And if they do give a shit, they're idiots. Because, A, there's no easy scoreboard in Overwatch, so there's no easy way to read into that. B, after this game, can you remember, can you tell me who had first in kills in the last 3 games you played? Can you? I can't. Being fair, I played a lot of Mystery Heroes and the duels today. I played a lot of duels today. I really like the new duels. Okay. So, you know, don't use ults just to think, oh, I can get a load of kills here, I can get... Don't do it. You're throwing the game away for your team. Because right now, a tactical visor would be fucking nice, wouldn't it? Wouldn't a tac visor be nice? Or a nano boost? That would be cool. I think that would be pretty cool. That would be a lot of kills, and your team would be going, ah, man, Soldier 76, what an amazing ultimate. I think the overtime triggers everything. Maybe, but even then, it's like unnecessary. Okay, no, we don't. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's just a little bit unfortunate. A little bit unfortunate. I think she literally stuck the mech. I'd say, like, the one thing here is actually, you know, we don't want to do this Diva Bomb. Why don't we want to do this Diva Bomb? Because it's totally pointless. Totally pointless. Why is this Diva Bomb totally pointless? Because we still have 600 hit points to chew through. See the 600 here. We still have all these hit points to gnaw our way through, and I'm aware that this is in the way. So they have to get through 600 hit points to be able to get us out of the mech. And then as the mech is dying, then we can press Q, and then we can do stuff with it. But the big thing right now is we are in stall mode. Overtime is ticking down. We want to just stay on the point. We want to rocket forward onto this point and then just woo, woo, and then defense matrix and block all the damage we can and just be as annoying as possible. And then when they come in to kill us, then we say, you know, we're stood here, and then we press the bunny button. This is a really shitty bunny. Then we press the bunny button and we jump out and everyone explodes, and then we get player of the game because we kill 5 people and you get the awesome selfie. Do I have my phone here? Oh, I don't. I've just as I picked this up, I was keenly aware that it was green. These are poppets. They're like little mint chocolate things. Quite nice. But you have the selfie thing and you get player of the game and you're really cool and you're the best person in the world. Otherwise, this is just... Okay, I've still got the pencil tool as well. There we go. This is just a case of really unfortunate timing as well, where, like, the tracer bombs there and we, like, dive out onto it. What is it with you? And jumping onto bombs? The Burnix. If I had to give you any advice, like, immediate, simple advice you can incorporate into your play. This is not Captain America. You are not Steve Rogers. You will not be given the super serum for jumping on the grenade. Stop it. Stop jumping on bombs. Overwatch doesn't work like that. It just disregards you and kills you. Don't do that. Off color, get down, Mr. President. I'm not sure how many people in the gaming community, which is typically a liberal community, would throw themselves on an explosive device for Donald Trump.